So, hello everybody. My name is Harriet Patrick Barron. I am an author. I am a public speaker. I am a mom. I am someone who loves God. And so I'm in my room. If you notice, it's quiet, which is very rare around here. And I felt impressed upon my heart to make this video. I didn't want to, and it's been on my mind for quite a while, but I finally decided to do it. This is for all the parents, grandparents, friends, anyone that you know that has a baby in they call it the NICU, the NICU, and that stands for Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. And so they're all across the nation. And so if you happen to come upon this video, I pray this will be encouraging to you. I mean, some step-by-step instructions. And you know what? This may actually help you through this time. And as you know, you need all the help and the support that you can get. I'm not going to be long. I just want to be here. Then I'm going to pray with you at the end of it. So I'm a mom. I had a 24-weeker first, and then I had a 23-weeker a year later. So I spent a good 2 years pretty much in and out the hospital. And so you already know, if you're watching this and you have a NICU baby, or you've had one in the past, you already know. You already know it's tough. So I'm not going to go through my story. I can say that don't blame yourself, number one. Most of the time, now there are sometimes it is the mom's fault, maybe through drinking, drugs, or just, doing really promiscuous activities. Something happened and, the baby came very early. But you know what, if you are one of those moms, just forgive yourself. If the baby is alive, the baby made it. Number one, forgive yourself and ask God to forgive you. If you did anything to cause it, knowingly or unknowingly, God, just forgive me. And then you forgive yourself. Don't beat up on yourself for all of that. You got to move forward. If the baby's here, take care of the baby. You've already forgiven yourself for any part you played in it, and just be there every day. Just be there and make things right. You can make things right. Most of the time, though, it's not the mom's fault. It's nothing that you did. Moms, you feel this sense of guilt. If I would have slept enough, or maybe I didn't eat right, maybe I didn't rest enough. You go through all the maybes, and you know what? You could have did all that, and sometimes the baby just came early. It was a medical problem. Maybe you're one of the moms that had high blood pressure, and they had to take the baby. I know there's a medical term for that, but that's just a simple term. Me, I had an incompetent cervix. My cervix would only hold a certain amount of weights, and the baby would get a certain weight. My cervix would just open, and bam, there the baby is. And so, I mean, I could tell you some stories. I've been sewed up, stitched up, been on bed rest. Sometimes, as you know, if you're over 35, that's a risk factor as well. And so I spent a great deal of time in the hospital before the baby was born, and you probably did all that as well. So I just want to tell you, here are some survival tips. Now, I know this is tough. I'm not speaking for someone on the outside. I have been there every day, in and out. I'm going to be honest with you. Your baby's going to have some good days in NICU. The baby's doing fine. I mean, I didn't see my baby's face till the first month because she was so bandaged up and had so many tubes everywhere. I literally couldn't see her face. So she was a month old. But she was doing great. She was even breathing room air for a while. So you may have those good days. You got good news from the doctor. Everything is going well. You're thinking, okay, we're going to make it through this. We're going to be all right. And then you come in the next day or two, baby's not doing good. Something happened overnight. The oxygen decreased. So you're going to have those good days, and you're going to have those real hard days as a parent. I mean, nail-biting days where you're like, okay, God, is the baby going to make it today or not? You're just praying hard every day. So that's my first note to parents and grandparents. There's going to be some good days in the NICU, and there's going to be some tough days in the NICU because the baby, I had a micro preemie. So here's the good news though, and I want to be encouraging, because before you had the baby, if you remember the night before or 2 days before, you already know the NICU team came in and they gave you the talk. I'm sure they showed you the graphs, the percentage of chance that your baby would have to survive if born at a certain amount of weeks. And your face was probably like, there's a whole list of things that could go wrong. And you know that you made it through that. But here's the good thing: if you are in the NICU, if the baby made it to the NICU, that's a blessing right there. That the baby survived in those, I mean, just all kinds of odds against the pregnancy and odds against you as the parent carrying the baby. You made it through the first phase, and that's getting the baby here alive and well. Now, yeah, there's tubes in the baby's scalp, in the feeding tube, tubes in the foot. My baby has so many tubes. I was like, my God. And yeah, they do feel pain. But you know what you have to do? You let your baby know, baby, you are not alone. And here's some good news: your baby will not even remember all of this trauma that is going through. Your baby will not remember the surgeries. They won't remember the IVs. They won't remember being in the NICU. So that's a blessing. And that comforted me to know, my God, I'm glad you won't remember all this. Heck, I do. Now, as a parent, you will. But the child won't remember that. They won't remember any of the pain. Now that should encourage you. If y'all can just make it, take it one day at a time. Take every day, one day at a time. Okay, another good day in the NICU. It was a tough day in the NICU. Whatever happened that day, you keep making it. You're going to make it another day and another day. And it may be months and months and months. If your mom, if you breast pump, hey, keep doing the best you can. If you cannot, do not beat up on yourself or feel guilty because you cannot uh, have good breast milk for your baby. I know I really tried, and I know you moms, y'all are really trying. You're trying to be at the NICU every day. You're trying to give the baby good breast milk. You're just overwhelmed. Don't beat up on yourself. If you cannot breast pump, if you physically are so exhausted, there's nothing else you can do. Do not beat up, don't beat yourself up about it. Okay. Number one, there's some really good formula that's so close to breast milk that they can give them in the NICU. Don't you feel guilty about it? Don't you beat yourself up about it? The main thing is that you are there with your baby as often as you can be. And you may not can be there every day for 4 or 5 months, but that's why you have grandparents. You have a list of people that can come and see your baby. If you cannot make it every day because mom and dad, you must rest your body. If you are all distraught and you're overwhelmed and you're tired, for one thing, you're going to get ill and they're not going to let you back in there like what happened to me. I couldn't come in. I had to rest. I caught pneumonia from being just exhausted, and plus they gave me magnesium anyway. So every day, if you can't make it every day, okay, you need friends, you need relatives, people that love you and love your baby, to maybe go 4 or 5 hours that day to be your eyes and ears, come back and tell you how the baby was. Don't beat up on yourself if you physically cannot make it every day for months and months and months, because mom, you've got to rest. Dad, you've got to rest because you're going to be there with that baby, okay? Don't beat yourself up about it, okay? I have another suggestion as well. Okay, so my doctor told me, I mean, it was a long road. A 24-weeker, you already know we're in the hospital for a while. I'm speaking 5 months, a while. Good days and bad days. This is what I can tell you as someone that's been through it. Go ahead on and get your plan together. My doctor told me and my husband, okay, so which one of you is going to be at home with the baby? And I was like, that's something we hadn't discussed, we hadn't talked about. Because if you have a premature baby, someone is going to have to stay at home with the baby. Because let's be honest, it's going to be touch and go for a while. Your baby will make it out the NICU successfully. Usually they let your baby go about the day that the baby should have been born. Okay? So everyone already has a head start on your baby. That means your baby will need physical therapy, occupational therapy, probably speech therapy, maybe some nursing care for a while. You already know the baby's going to see all kind of heart doctors and lung doctors. It's going to be a road. It's a long road. Let's not kid ourselves. It was a 3-year road for me this last time. 3 years of doctor's appointments, therapies for 4 and 5 days a week, working with the baby. And I'll be at home with the baby. I had to. So go ahead and talk to your significant other. If you're a single mom or single dad, whoever is in your life that's going to be that support system, start talking to them now. Okay, y'all, I'm going to need y'all. When the baby comes home, don't say if. When this baby comes home, you need to already have a support system in place. Okay, get your finances together. Okay, so Would you need to apply for some kind of public assistance if only one person's working? Someone has to be there with the baby. Or maybe if you do have to work because you are a single parent, okay, can you get some grandparents or a real good child care worker? Someone that's going to be there with your baby every day through all the therapy that it's going to need. I'm going to be honest, there's not many daycares who feel comfortable taking care of a premature baby. I couldn't find one. They're like, "Oh no," because my baby did have some issues. We It was a long road even after she got home. So if you have a premature baby, it's going to be a long road, okay? Not a bad road, but just a road filled with all kind of medical stuff for the first few years. That's to be expected. And guess what? That's fine because that's helping your baby get stronger to catch up with other children in the age group. But just get in your mind, okay, it's going to be a long road. Go ahead on while the baby's still in the hospital. You go ahead, get your resources together, talk to your significant other or your parents or friends, whoever you have in your life. Go ahead on and get your plan together. When my baby comes home, I'm going to need this and this and this, okay? So get your head geared toward that. So here's a good thing. While your baby's in the hospital, getting the care that he or she needs, this is your time. Get yourself together, get your plan together, get your home in order. I'll say get your spiritual life together because you may not be a person of faith, but it's a good time to start praying. If you believe in God, it's a good time to ask him for help and assistance to get you through this time because you need support. I'm going to be honest, you need support. I cannot tell you how many days I was in that chapel. Like, look, Lord, I need help. This is not looking good. And I'm going to tell you the truth, y'all. I had one day, the worst day ever in the NICU. And I know you've had them. Honey, they had to resuscitate my baby about 3 times. I slid in the floor. I was done. I was done. The emotional stress, and y'all know it. I mean, watching your baby suffer. Her lungs had collapsed. She was septic. Thank God her nurse, if it hadn't been for her good NICU nurse, and y'all, there are some good nurses in the NICU. I mean, they take care of those babies like they're their own kids that love your child. Her NICU nurse came in at, I don't know if it was midnight or whatever, came in and seen that she was looking limp and septic. If she hadn't said anything, honey, my baby would have died that very night. She was almost half dead. But thank God for good nurses, y'all. I'm telling you, you better treat them right and thank God for them. Thank God for good doctors that got in there and worked with my baby. They had given up on my baby. It's like, there's nothing else we can do. We've tried all the medicines to bring her back. She was off life support, breathing room air, gaining weight. Her lung collapsed and she was septic. I mean, my gosh. She was back on the ventilator. I mean, swollen, y'all. It was not looking good. But I tell you, I'm sorry, it gets me even to this day when I talk about it. Because it was so traumatic. Because I already lost a baby. I already had a stillborn baby. So we couldn't go through that again. My baby had to be resuscitated that day. I slid on my knees. I could not even talk. And so I came back home and I said, Lord, we got to have a talk today. And I began to talk, begin to pray. And I said, God, look, my baby, she's so small, Lord, she can't pray. She can't pray for herself. She cannot talk. But Lord, me as her mother, I pray in Jesus' name that you heal my baby. That you walk in that room and lay your nail-scarred hand on my baby girl. Because it was not looking good. And I said, God, I believe you can heal. I believe you're going to bring this baby out. Lord, I'm trusting you to make a way for this baby to live. And you pray and you ask the Lord to help you. And I said, God, strengthen me, strengthen this baby in Jesus' name. And we did some more praying. And if you know anybody that can pray, you better call them. Okay? You call them. I called everybody I could. I need y'all to pray, y'all. It's not looking good. Let me tell you how good God is. We prayed. Literally 3 hours later, the doctor called me on the phone. He said, well, it was looking bad. He said, but about 3 hours ago, she made a turn, and I think she may be all right. Now, I want to tell you how quick God is. 3 hours later, 3 hours later, he called me. And now this man was not a believer at all. You talking about a bad talk. Like, he gave me the legal medical terms of what all could happen to my baby, and none of it was good. So he was not a believer in nothing. He gave me no hope, nothing. But he said about 3 hours ago she made a turn. He goes, and she may be all right. Now for him to say that, I'll take it. That's his most positive, and he'd been the whole NICU. My baby, within a few days, she was off the vent. I'm telling you, God can bring you out of this situation. But you hang on. You picture your baby running at the park. You picture your baby playing with other children. Picture he or she going to school the first day. Okay, it's going to be okay. You picture yourself holding your baby in your arms and like, you know what? I know it was a bad day today, but you know what, baby? You are not alone. You're going to make it through this, and we are coming out of here. We are walking out of here. Stroller, carrier, baby formula, baby clothes, diapers, diaper wipes. We're coming out of here, baby, and we're going to be okay. You speak life to your baby every day in that NICU. I mean, even when it's a bad day. Even if your baby has a brain bleed or a heart murmur. As you know, honey, it's a whole... My baby had so many diagnoses when she was discharged. I was like, my God. Where do you want to start? I just give them the list. When they asked me what she diagnosed with, honey, I just gave them the list because it was like 10 different things. And y'all know what I'm talking about. But guess what? Every day she was in the NICU. Look, you're coming out of this. You are not alone. We're praying for you. I would talk to her every day. And mom and dad, you are speaking life. I don't care what the doctor says. You speak life to your baby. If you can hold their hand, you say, baby, we're coming out of here and you're going to be okay. Every day. Nothing but life. Life. I don't care if it's looking bad. If the baby can't even respond. Baby, we're coming out of here. We're coming out of here. You're going to be happy. You're going to run. You're going to sing. You're going to play. You're going to be a doctor, Lord. Just speak life to that baby. Speak life to that situation. And so you as a parent, I know you may have a day you want to run out screaming because it's so hard that day. And you may be so tired of all this news. But I'm telling you, God will strengthen you. In the Bible, King David said, what time I'm afraid, I would trust in God. That means I'm so scared that this is not finna have a good outcome. I'm just scared it's not gonna have a good outcome. I mean, I'm scared down to my toes, but I would trust in God. I don't care what I see with these eyes. I know what it's looking like today, but I would trust in God. I'm gonna stand here and I'm gonna trust God that all is going to be well. It's gonna be okay. So anyway, guys, I just felt encouraged to tell you this. I've been there. I've done that. And like I said, surprisingly, I found myself pregnant again, literally a year later. And then a year later, I had my cervix sewed up. I was on bed rest. We took all the precautions. I thought, finally, a full-term baby. We're fixing to do it. I'd been through in the NICU 5 months and a whole, still in therapy with my child. No, I can't do that again. My placenta ruptured and tore away. You know what? Here we go again. But a 23-weeker, which was even worse than the first time. Stayed in the hospital almost 6 months, but she made it out. Did we have some bad days? Ooh, you better believe it. Did I cry a whole bunch? Yes. Did I laugh a lot? Yes. And these two girls are the joy of my life. And I don't know if you believe in God, but I'm telling you, only God could have intervened in this situation. And only God can intervene in your situation. And if you ask him to, I mean the God of heaven and earth, the Lord Jesus Christ, if you ask him to help you, he will. He will. I'm not saying your baby's going to be discharged with no, that the baby's going to come home without oxygen, because mine was on oxygen when they came home and we had a long road. But guess what? She came home. And guess what? Your baby's going to come home. And as a mom and dad, grandparents, friends, God will give you the strength to deal with the journey. And guess what? When y'all come out, you're going to be stronger. You're going to be powerful. And then you're going to turn around and make a video like this and encourage another mom and dad that's going through the exact same thing. Because everybody does not have a good outcome. But if you do, you better bless God. And the fact that your baby even made it to the NICU with all the odds against him, with all the odds against her, that baby fought so hard to make it into the world, that's the first victory, that you made it. Okay? So I hope you're encouraged by that. Y'all get some rest. If you got to sleep in sleep in the breast pumping room, try to sleep where you can and when you can. And yeah, you're going to be tired. But like I said, call your friends and family. Don't beat yourself up. If you can't make it every day because you're exhausted, you better get you some rest because you're going to be in the baby's life for the rest of his life. So call grandma, hey, I need you to sit in today. Or a friend, call your friend. I'm so tired, I can't make it today, but will you please go and check on my baby for me today? And then call me. That's why you have a support system. So it's going to be okay, okay? You do the best you can. You ask God to help you, and He will. So if this was a strength to you, please leave a comment. Just let me know, man, that's just what I needed to hear. Or, hey, I want you to talk more about, after the discharge or something. So love you guys. God bless you.